And how's it? Today we're talking about why you should stop asking for a discovery call and what to do instead on LinkedIn. So, more on that in a minute. How was your weekend? With the North Shore winter swells coming our way, I've been enjoying some extra surfing time with my partner and the family. Our kids don't surf yet, people ask, but that may very well change this season because our 9-year-old is determined to learn to surf this year. So, we will see how that goes. We try to make it to our favorite spots on the weekends before the surf schools kick off the day around mid morning. It's kind of crowded at that point, but super beautiful, kind of like perfect waves, great conditions. So, pretty stoked. And nothing is quite as rejuvenating as getting in the water and catching some fun size waves with friends and family. So, if you ever get the chance to take a surf lesson, I highly recommend you do it. You may become addicted like I did. And have you checked out the latest episode on the Mango Effect podcast this week? We discuss why I'm actually looking forward to growing older rather than obsessing over every little smile line and eye crease, because we all have the opportunity to grow wiser while also having a better sense of who we are, what we're good at, and what we're meant to do on this planet. So, if you want a bit of a counterculture take on anti aging, you will definitely enjoy this episode. And while you're there, check out 30 plus other episodes about creating a life you love, being a digital entrepreneur, living in Hawaii, learning to surf, becoming your own boss, and more. And now it is time for Mondays with Mindy. This is a weekly show on Monday afternoons, if you're based in the US, where I talk about all things LinkedIn profile, pipeline, and promo, what I call the 3 Ps of LinkedIn. So, do you have questions about LinkedIn that you want me to answer? Be sure to like this post, whether you're watching live or from the replay. Leave your questions below, and I promise I will answer them either after the show or on a future episode of Mondays with Mindy. I love getting requests. I like getting topics. So if there are certain things you are like, Mindy, can you please cover this? Let me know. Shoot me a DM if you don't want to share it publicly. And I am curious to get your thoughts because I am planning content for the next quarter and I'm really excited about it. So let's get to today's topic. What's all this talk about discovery calls and LinkedIn outreach, Mindy? A few weeks ago, we actually talked about developing enough confidence on LinkedIn and understanding how to approach our network in the right way. And I feel like that really leads us to today's topic because, in order to develop that confidence and start taking action, we actually have to know exactly what works and what doesn't work on LinkedIn for our businesses. So, have you ever been pitch slapped by a new LinkedIn connection who is eager to give you their calendar link to book a free 30-minute clarity call or a complimentary 60-minute strategy session? Like, raise hand, right? We all get those. If you're like most LinkedIners I know, you typically roll your eyes and try to resist the urge to remove the connection immediately. And sometimes I still go ahead and remove the connection, but maybe opting sometimes to mute this conversation instead. So, who are these people? What are they thinking? It boggles my mind how they have so much free time on their hands that they are ready and willing to give up 30 to 60 minutes of their premium time to a complete stranger like me in hopes of getting the sale. This is kind of like getting introduced to someone new at a friend's party and in the next breath asking for their phone number. I mean, that's really creepy, right? Well, the same applies to LinkedIn. And a lot of us, we kind of know this, but we're like, well, what do I do instead? Like, you're talking about using LinkedIn for sales calls. Like, how does that actually work if I'm not handing out my calendar link? So, when it comes to LinkedIn messaging, you and I have probably seen it all. Most of the time, we're disappointed by what we see in our LinkedIn inboxes because it's one horribly written pitch after another, with maybe an old college friend resurfacing to see how business is going from time to time. Still, the social selling gurus are teaching us to follow these same worn out strategies that didn't even work well 5 years ago. And I was around 5 years ago. I wasn't sending messages like this when LinkedIn was not even as sophisticated as it is now. So, why is it that you feel the first thing you need to do when you want new clients is to set up a book a free call Calendly link and plaster it all over your LinkedIn profile, inside your messages, and every page of your website? This is a complete newbie move, and you're showing your cards that you are desperate for new business by making this link available. So, if you have a discovery call link on your profile, okay, think about that for a moment. I highly recommend that you reconsider whether or not it's actually doing the opposite, because we're going to get into how sophisticated business leaders actually handle their calendar on LinkedIn. Which, okay, is this a sexy topic? Yeah, it actually is, because we're talking about making money today. But if you have been turned off by flinging calendar invites and booking links back and forth with little success, you're going to really learn what works on LinkedIn right now and actually how to do it. Because I feel like this is not talked about enough. And we are given a lot of misinformation, or we're reading old articles about what people used to do back in the day. And a lot of that isn't working now. And I get to see the back end of dozens of people's LinkedIn's like on a weekly basis. Pretty cool, by the way. And so I understand what is working because I can see it. I see it there right in front of my eyes. So if you're curious, you're going to really enjoy today's session, and make sure to take some notes. Reach out to me if you have questions and feedback that you want as we go into today's session. So, aloha. For those who don't know me, my name is Mindi Rosser. I'm the founder of Mindi Rosser Marketing, and I have a group program called the LinkedIn Accelerator for those who want to go from 0 to 60 on LinkedIn with their profile and their network. We are actually opening the doors next time in October, which is right around the corner. I will share the link at the end if you want to get on the wait list and want more details. I help professionals who feel they are the best kept secret in their industry to become that go-to visible expert in their niche so they can get that next opportunity, grow their business, and scale their impact on LinkedIn. And in this live, we are going to talk about why asking for a discovery call on LinkedIn is one of the absolute worst things you can possibly do as a business leader who's trying to use LinkedIn to grow your business, and what you can do instead to become that in demand expert in your niche so that you can accelerate your business, kickstart the right relationships, and generate more leads. All right, are you ready? Let's do this. This could be fun. So go ahead and like this post, whether you're live or watching from the replay, to give it some social love. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make on LinkedIn is too freely giving away their time to anyone and everyone who asks for it. And sometimes they even offer it when you don't ask. Just here's my link. Let's talk. So we are taught the old way of networking, which is to hand out our business card to everyone we meet that contains our phone number, contains our email address, physical address, a lot of times even a booking link for our calendar. Talk about getting personal. Like, who does this? A well-connected networker is supposed to just be able to pick up the phone and call or text anyone, and the other is expected to reciprocate with a timely text or a quick response to their voicemail. But think about it. Would you expect Brene Brown or Seth Godin or Mark Zuckerberg or Oprah Winfrey to just like willy-nilly hand out an all-access pass to reach them and get on their schedule? Heck no, of course not. They've got a bazillion gatekeepers. Try to get through them and tell me how it goes. So this is very similar to how a go-to expert should approach their calendar. It's sacred. Your calendar is sacred. Your time is valuable. Nobody hops on for a face to face meeting without being thoroughly vetted and without a specific business reason in mind for that call. So when you devalue your time by letting anyone grab a link and hop on your calendar with a very fuzzy reason that doing so is going to open you up to a new opportunity, you're going to fill your calendar with calls. Okay? You hand out enough links, you're going to have some people booking, but a high percentage of them will be with the wrong people and without an intentional purpose to drive your business forward. This is something I see all the time. Like, Mindy, I'm having calls. I'm like, what are you doing on these calls? Like, you tell me you have no money and no business, or that you're like, oh, I'm barely breaking even. And what are you doing on 12 calls a week? Like, you should be selling. Like, all of those should be sales calls if that's what those are supposed to be. So great business leaders value their time and their energy above all else. I'll say that again. Great business leaders value their time and their energy above all else. They have no time for a call that is not directly related to their business and professional objectives. So they have rules around who gets on their calendar, what will be discussed, when the meeting will end. You know, who's been on a call that was supposed to be 15 minutes that went an hour? Been there, done that. So there's no mucking around throughout the day because every call should be high value and deserves your attention. So no matter if you just started your business last month or you've been at this for decades, your time is valuable. Okay, so just realize that that's all you take away from today. Your time is valuable. Do not devalue your time by just haphazardly handing out your links. So when you respect your own time, others will respect your time. Okay, imagine that, fancy that. So you'll also notice an increase in the number of highly qualified opportunities and close deals as a result of being more stringent with your calendar. So I'm not saying never hand a calendar link out. I'm not in the camp of you can't have meetings. No meetings, no meetings. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't freely hand it out to anyone who wants your time. So when everyone else is zigging with calendar links, you're zagging and making sure it's a viable, profitable opportunity with a high likelihood of closing before you hand out your calendar link. So when you notice that there is a really good opportunity, you're not hoarding your calendar link at that point. You are vetting them though. You are doing your work behind the scenes. You are asking questions in your DMs or your email to make sure they're a good fit. You're doing your homework before you hand out that calendar link. The times that I have gotten in trouble with my calendar link have been when I was lazy and I did not read the message carefully and I said, oh, it's easier just to answer with my calendar link. Here, just take my calendar link. I would say at least half those times I have ended up on the wrong end of the call, realizing that I just wasted their time and my time. So this also applies to savvy B2B salespeople. Now, you salespeople are like, Mindy, this doesn't apply to me. I'm not a business leader trying to do my own business development. It does, because the ones that are doing it well, whom I work with, whom I talk with on a weekly basis, they are also not too eager to cold call. They are very thoughtful in how they do cold calling. And some of them, the ones that get too aggressive with their outreach, it can come across as desperate. So oftentimes getting too pushy in sales can backfire because a great salesperson still values their time. So a great salesperson is not wasting time with prospects who are not highly qualified. Now, if they are highly qualified and you have some inroads, you've had some conversations, yeah, you should be pushy enough, but not overbearing. So that's where you really need to be thoughtful. And there's a lot of nuance here. So you can't just take what I say across the board. There's a lot of nuance. It's a game. And we're going to talk about that. So to put this in perspective, I was working with a colleague of mine just a few weeks ago who's relatively new to running her own business. She's also an expert at what she does. She really should be charging for every hour of her time. Like she's really, really good at what she does. And she is definitely at the top of her game when it comes to her niche and her areas of expertise. So when we looked at her website, it had book a discovery call at the top of her website, like big, bold letters, which screams to everyone else who's visiting her website, I have no clients. Please talk to me. So I asked her why she was letting any old website visitor who is not properly vetted hop onto her calendar to pick her brain for 30 minutes. She answered that was what she was told to do from some other online marketing experts. Doesn't every consultant do a free strategy or discovery call to give them a taste and sell a consulting package? I replied, no, actually, they don't. The best ones make it incredibly difficult to get a free call, but they often have a paid consulting hour available. So in that moment, I saw it dawn on her like, wait, I can charge for my time. Yeah, you can charge for your time. So she was realizing that she had been devaluing herself and turning away the clients who would actually want to work with her and value her time and pay her what she's worth because she was not valuing her own expertise by saying, have a free call with me. Anybody can have a call with me. Yeah. Please hop on my calendar. Here's a bazillion slots throughout the day. So it took her 30 minutes to take that free call link off her website, replace it with a 1 hour paid consultation. And just watching her reaction and how empowered she felt, like, oh, going to her website and saying, yeah, you can get my time, but you got to pay for it. That is a mindset shift and something sometimes we don't always think about. So guess what? She now has control over time. She's also on the path to attract more qualified people to work with her and compensate her accordingly. So you pair that approach with a great inbound marketing and aligned social selling strategy, and she's well on her way to fully booking her calendar with paid clients. So that's the power of the mindset shift too, in valuing your time and how empowering that can be in just attracting the right people. So I like to think of LinkedIn as a game. I like to have fun because it is. It is. And too many people take LinkedIn seriously. It should be taken seriously, but not too seriously. So when you know how to play it well, you can actually do less on LinkedIn and build better relationships that actually lead to business growth and actual dollars in your business bank account. I see too many people wasting time on LinkedIn, like writing the most clever posts. And then when I talk to them, because they come and talk to me like, Mindy, I've been posting every day. Mindy, I write the most thoughtful things. I plan out my calendar for like a month. I write like 30 posts. And I thought, how do I tell them that you don't need that much content on LinkedIn? You have to be active in your messages. So if you're curious about my own approach to LinkedIn, I'm going to share a little secret today. I haven't shared it on these lives before. So here we go. I actually like to play the role of the coquette. So if you don't know what a coquette is, it's kind of like a little bit of a tease, a little bit hard to get when it comes to getting this person's time, right? Now, I don't mean I'm not talking about being flirtatious or leading people on or being inauthentic, as that's a negative connotation that is not applicable here. What I am saying is that I'm not a sucker for handing out my calendar invite or frantically fawning over people who could be a good prospect for my business. There are a lot of people in my network who I am connected to that I have never reached out to and pitched because it's enough for them to be inside my network. And at the right time, they're going to reach out to me if they need me. So I don't have to like pester them and send them very pushy messages. So I focus instead on building long term relationships through credibility, piquing people's interest. I like to get people curious. I like people thinking. I like to start conversations. I like to be a little bit controversial sometimes. I like to share good content. Showing up consistently is key. Encouraging people and also noticing when a connection and somebody inside my network is doing something brave or awesome on LinkedIn. Just like noticing them, saying something, commenting, liking. And then I let them seek me out in their own time. If they like what I'm doing, they're going to message me. It's as simple as that. So I don't have to do any hard selling on LinkedIn. I never chase people down or hound them with aggressive messaging to close them in any way. That's just not my style. And in my mind, if they see any synergy on their end, they're going to message me or ask about my services. And I get that every single day on LinkedIn. They're coming from LinkedIn or sending me an email because they found my email on LinkedIn every single day. Okay. So if I think they're a good fit, I will send them a link to book a paid consult with me. So if they haven't found it first on my website and booked a session with me without ever reaching out to me on LinkedIn, which is now happening every week. So you know what that feels like? Pretty amazing. So I value my time. They value my time. They come prepared to that call with what they want to talk about. My goal is to give people as much like jam pack that 60-minute session with them so that they don't have to come back. My goal is not retention. I'm not trying to sell them a 10 consulting package. It is literally about providing value. And guess what? It works like gangbusters because then they tell all their friends and then all their friends come to me. So it has this ripple effect, but it's because we focus on providing value. It's because we focus on solving problems. It's because we are not pushy, because we are establishing genuine connection and relationships. So you do not have to be pushy, salesy, or spammy on LinkedIn to generate new business. But I learned the hard way. I used to be that person who handed out her 15-minute calendar link to anyone who even seemed remotely interested in what I did. To be honest, like I said, half those calls were a complete waste of time. And I got really frustrated. So that's when I looked at my calendar and I said, okay, I'm going to take a different approach. So why not take a different approach and treat my calendar as if I was a highly paid consultant and I only consult a certain number of days, a certain number of hours per week. And if you want to get on my calendar, most often it's going to be about 2 weeks out is like the earliest slot you can possibly find. And then I'm going to show up for my LinkedIn network consistently every single day in my messages every week in a long form piece of content like this live stream to share value and build connection. So you can use this same approach. It's not that hard. And I think sometimes we make it really complex. And really, it is not that hard. If you haven't already figured out, it works like gangbusters on LinkedIn because my network and the people inside my network know I truly care about helping them reach their goals. I'm not going to waste their time. I'm not going to send them something or try to sell them something that isn't a fit for them right now. I'm going to show up with integrity and I don't push anything on them. When you treat people like a human, it's amazing how reciprocity works. And when you actually have some expertise, because so many of you come to me and you have a very high level of expertise and you just aren't valuing it at the level of a highly paid consultant. So think about the person in your industry, in your niche that is like, oh, Mindy, they're like the top paid consultant or speaker or author. I would love to be like them and be able to charge their day rate. Well, guess what? You can. You can start right now. And it starts with taking control of your calendar and not just handing out your link. So it's not my style to be icky, pushy, salesy, or spammy. And I've discovered I don't have to use those tactics to build a multi six figure business doing what I love, working with people who are pretty darn awesome, and effecting change in ways that are bigger than I am. All right, so there's Mindy's little tangent there. I got on my hobby horse. So let's talk about three simple, practical ways to start building relationships on LinkedIn like this that lead to new business growth without ever having to hand out a discovery call link to someone who just wants to pick your brain or sell you something. So the first thing, optimize your LinkedIn profile for connection. Notice the for connection part. All right. So I've talked about optimizing your LinkedIn profile a lot of times. If you've watched my live streams, you've probably seen it. I weave it into almost every single live because it is critically important. So it is the foundation of everything that you do on LinkedIn. But when you are wanting to use this approach, if you're like Mindy, I'm sick and tired of having people hop on my calendar or just trying to get anyone to hop on my calendar, I need a different approach. Then you need to look at your profile from the point of optimizing for connection. So when you craft your profile with the intention to connect and make it easy to connect with you on LinkedIn, it does the heavy lifting for you. It also attracts the right people to your profile instead of just trying to get everyone or get, the slimy people that just want to pitch you things. So building a network on LinkedIn or growing your business is at least 2 to 3 times easier if you have an excellent profile that is up to date and accurately reflects what you're doing now. Seriously, so 2 to 3 times easier if you have an excellent profile that is up to date and reflects what you're doing now. The upfront work pays off in the long run because you only need to do like a minor refresh here and there when you make a job change, career pivot, or shift your service or program offerings. But once you do it once, it's not that hard moving forward. And your LinkedIn profile is also kind of like a mini website, especially if you're an expert with a 9 to 5 and don't have a website. For those of you with businesses, many times people are going to look you up here on LinkedIn first before they even realize that you have a website. So just expect that to happen. Your profile sets the stage for every interaction that you're going to have with anyone and everyone on LinkedIn. So when in terms of connection, is your profile set up for connection, authentic connection? Your profile is always evolving, but once you nail it that one time, you're going to understand exactly what to do the next time you need to update rather than kind of like haphazardly tweaking sections and hoping for the best, which is how most of us kind of come to figuring out our profile. So really taking a strategic approach and working through your profile from top to bottom, optimizing all those sections in terms of connection. You're thinking when you are writing your profile, too many times we think about ourselves and like, well, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Instead, you want to flip that a little bit. Yes, you need to talk about you because this is your profile, but you need to look at your profile through the lens of somebody who's going to connect with you. If you're trying to attract prospects or leads, you're going to think about what do they need to see on my profile to be able to trust me, the credibility. What about connecting? Am I making it easy for them to connect with me on LinkedIn, to reach out to me, to engage with my content? Is it easy for them to find? If people have to dig too hard and try to figure out what your profile is all about, what you're all about, they're going to hop away. We don't have attention spans that are just like, it's not worth digging for them because if you have not prioritized it, they're not going to prioritize you. So you prioritize your profile and your presence. You take charge of that narrative because that is yours. And that is your first opportunity to connect with people. Before any connection invitations are exchanged, people are looking at your profile. All right, number 2. On that note, always be connecting. So ABC, always be connecting on LinkedIn. Always, always, always. So look for reasons to connect with people on LinkedIn. This is super fun if you treat it like a game. We talked. It's a game. LinkedIn is a game. Play the game. So whenever I attend a great online event, it could be a webinar, it could be a class, it could be a workshop, it could be alumni getting together from a community or program I went through. I usually research the active attendees that were at that event on LinkedIn and I find out if there's synergy in connecting. So it's not like I mass blast everyone. It has to be a good reason. And then I reach out to get connected with them and reference the event. Super simple strategy, right? So you go to these great events, you see these really cool people. They're having great conversations in the chat that maybe you're engaging with. Hop over to LinkedIn as soon as it's over and say, hey, you were just talking about this at the event. That was really smart. Can we connect? I like what you're doing. Can I learn more about you? So you can really be thoughtful and connect on LinkedIn with the people that you are attending events with and engaging with. Really easy way to build your network too. If you're like, Mindy, I can't get to 500, go to an online event, screenshot all the windows of all the attendees because a lot of people meet on Zoom, so you can see everybody's name. Then go reach out to those people afterwards, say, hey, I saw you at this event. Can we connect? It can be really that simple. So this week, I also taught a workshop inside my membership, and we talked about how to get connected with professionals inside your communities, your groups, and associations. It was a really good session, and they brought a lot of insights to the table and also how we could actually do this better together. So, most of us are members of multiple online business communities. Most of us are, especially these days. And the funny thing is, we never actually connect with those members on LinkedIn. Like wherever that group is housed, whether it's, inside something like Circle or a Facebook community or it's in Slack, we don't actually take that connection back to LinkedIn. So if it's a professional community, you can get connected on LinkedIn. Now, if it is a topic where it is very sensitive and you have to respect people's privacy and it doesn't make sense to come to LinkedIn, okay, avoid those. But professional communities, we all want to get connected with each other. It's all about connection and networking. And so it is one of the easiest ways to grow your network with peers and colleagues. So think about what types of groups and communities you're in now, and does it make sense to connect with those people inside of your LinkedIn network? And then think about what other places can you think of that would make for an easy way to get connected with people? Send them a personalized connection invitation and reference the connecting point. It's really that simple. And too many people make LinkedIn complicated and are terrified to send a connection invitation to somebody they don't actually know. The thing is, you got 300 characters, personalize it as best you can, send it. The worst they can do is ignore it. All right. So it's not that hard. And the more you do it, the more confident you're going to get. So start sending connection invitations. Always be connecting. All right. And number 3, show up with value consistently. I know. Like people are like, well, Mindy, okay, yeah, I need to post my content. I mean something a little bit different here. So whenever someone comes across your content or comments online, if you're commenting, if you're a big engager on other people's content, what do they tend to find? Is it fluffy content? It's not just about posting any old content. A lot of times I come across people that post like fluffy stuff. It's like, you're just trying to get me to opt into your lead magnet. And it's kind of crappy anyways. Like, why would I do that? It's not that good. You are looking to put out things with substance. You're looking to change perspectives. It's something that has to be juicy, meaty, interesting. So even if you're not reinventing the wheel, you need to have another perspective or get people thinking or get people talking. That's what good content is all about. And when you can actually help somebody shift their perspective or actually rethink a misplaced assumption to fix a particularly troublesome issue, you've hooked to them. That's like hook, line, and sinker. They're in. They think you're smart. They like you. You're funny. You're creative. So the key with making this strategy that we're talking about today work, so you don't have to rely on giving away your time for free, you have to already be showing up and providing value consistently over time. Because what that does is it builds that credibility. People don't have to hop on a 15-minute call with you to prove that you're a real person, to prove that you know your stuff, because your stuff is already out there. They can read it. They can do a search. They can do their homework ahead of time. You're putting it out there for them, so it makes your life a whole lot easier. And it also provides value consistently over time, because what they can do is they can go back in that history. If you have a blog, if you have a website, YouTube channel, podcast, whatever your medium is, they can scroll back in time and see that you've been talking about the same stuff for a long time. And when you do that, when you show up consistently, you automatically eliminate 90% of the competition because they can't hang for that long. So you're just going to automatically win if you put out content consistently over time, continue to show up, and you definitely build a good reputation. So this does not go unnoticed by your A-list prospects. Trust me, it doesn't. I had somebody reach out to me today and I said, I will follow up with you. We had an email discussion going back and forth. And I said, I will follow up with you by the end of the week. And at the end of the week, guess what? I followed up. And she responded and said, by the way, you actually followed up when you said you were going to, and that did not go unnoticed. It's those little things like that. When you show up, when you say you're going to show up, if you do a weekly show and you miss a week, you're not showing up. You're not in integrity. So you need to think about what it means to be integrity for yourself and make sure that you are aligning your message and prioritizing your presence. So Show up with integrity, align your message, prioritize your presence because it matters a lot. And if you don't want to hand out your Calendly link, you got to be doing something else in the meantime to build that trust. So showing up consistently can look a lot of different ways. This does not necessarily mean you have to become an inbound marketing content machine. Some of you don't need to do that. Some of you, it is very important for your prospects. Others of you, it's actually more important to show up behind closed doors in people's messages and for your members and in places that are not necessarily public, but you're still showing up consistently. That is key. When you know your audience well, you will figure out where and how to show up for them in more meaningful ways. And when you can do that over and over and over again, guess what? Your business is going to grow. Everyone is going to want to work with you because you continue to show up and deliver value and you are there. You are trustworthy. You are credible. You are willing to put in the work. So there you have it. You can now start making a start with your LinkedIn network and relationship building in a way that is more scalable. It does not require you to serve up your calendar to anyone and everyone unless you really want to do it. For those of you who really want to do it, more power to you. You probably didn't watch this far. And it also allows you to do your best work in your zone of genius because that's what it's all about. As experts, as people who help people solve very particular, troublesome problems, it is our duty, it's our responsibility to be in our zone of genius. And a lot of times, hopping on calendar calls and talking with people that are not going to buy from us, that is not spending time in our zone of genius. That is not serving our people. So we are actually doing a disservice to our tribe by wasting our time in that way. So yes, this does require a bit of a paradigm shift in how you're approaching your LinkedIn network, how you're approaching it now, maybe what you've been doing and whom you want to attract. But guess what? If you talk to me in 3 to 6 months after you make this shift, I want to know, is it working for you? If it doesn't work for you, I double dog dare you to follow up with me and say, Mindy, I tried it. I did this process and it didn't work for me. Because the people that I've been doing this with for years, some of my clients, we've been doing this for a very long time together. It is amazing to see how their business thrives and grows organically, but also with intention. And they get to work with more of the clients that they actually want to work with. I think that's the beauty of this strategy too, is because you will only attract the people that actually want to do good business with you and that respect you. And that is key to a healthy business. All right. So if you're looking for that extra edge to get started on the right path with LinkedIn and your profile, get on the wait list for the next cohort of the LinkedIn Accelerator. We are kicking off in October. Let me put up the link there. Oh, not that one. Here we are, the correct link. Get on the wait list. We are going to actually go through all the steps that I covered today. So we're going to talk a lot about social selling and how to do that well. Also, how to optimize your profile. So I know I mentioned talking through the top to bottom, like how to work through your profile in a way that makes sense, fill in the blank templates, all of that good stuff. And we do it in just 1 week. Super short program. It's really fun. It's a small group, good cohort, and you're off to the LinkedIn races. So if you're interested, here's the link to get on the wait list, find out a few more details. You can also message me if you're curious. So I will see you all next week on Mondays with Mindy. Feel free to leave any questions or comments below, and my inbox is open if you want to message me directly there. As I mentioned, I love hanging out in my LinkedIn DMs, so feel free to message me and we can talk shop and nerd out on this stuff. And I'm really looking forward to your feedback. And if you give this a whirl and want to talk calendar links and what you're doing instead, feel free to share what's been working for you too, because I'm always curious to hear. All right, that's it for today. I will see you later. Bye for now.